But being the CEO of you, where it starts is you have this vision as to where you want your life to be, your legacy.
Welcome to Biz Help for You, the show that saves you the expensive learning curve by providing advice from industry experts in every facet of the entrepreneurial journey. Too many small businesses collapse. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, 20% fail within their first year, and less than 35% make it to their 10th anniversary. The goal of this podcast is to change that statistic. So if you're interested in learning more to be a successful entrepreneur, tune in today.
Let me tell you a little bit about my guest today. Jaclyn Strominger is a dedicated high achiever success coach specializing in helping ambitious individuals excel in both business and life. Her mission is to empower high achievers to transcend their limits, elevate their aspirations, and achieve outstanding success. Jaclyn focuses on fostering confidence and excellence, enabling her clients to not only meet but exceed their goals. She takes pride in witnessing these transformations, guiding her clients into becoming innovative leaders in their fields. Her holistic coaching approach emphasizes both inner strength and outer confidence, aiming to help individuals make bold, strategic leaps in their careers and personal lives. Jaclyn partners with her clients through their challenges and victories, providing unwavering support and accountability. Her ultimate fulfillment comes from seeing clients surpass their goals and achieve triumph in both business and life. You can learn from Jaclyn how to craft a clear personal mission statement, align your core values with daily actions, and develop the confidence and resilience needed to lead your business with vision and purpose. So Jaclyn, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me here today. I really, really appreciate it.
I'm happy to have you here. I'm looking forward to the discussion that we're going to have today. But before I get into questions on the subject matter, I would love to ask you to share your story of how you began coaching entrepreneurs.
Okay, so I love the question. Our stories, I think they mean so much as to where we are coming from. So my journey into coaching actually started when I was first being an entrepreneur myself with one of my first businesses, and I needed help. And we know what we know about our businesses, but running a business, I mean, I went to a great school, I learned about business, but it's very different when you actually kind of put out the shingle or create the URL and you're going into business for yourself. And I realized I needed that accountability. I needed someone to keep me on track. I needed I needed somebody to help me get unstuck with the things that happened to make, to block me into, even picking up the phone. I had to pick up the phone and talk to, as I call them, moms. They were moms, but they may have had a business. I was terrified. If you asked me to call a company, no problem. But to call a mom, I don't know. There was this massive shield up. So it was getting through those blocks that I had and to get through some of the things that I knew that I needed help with to make my business succeed. And I had been successful at other things, but it was like that shingle up there. It's like that piece of paper. You're like, all of a sudden it kind of like, ooh, now what I do, right? And so when I hired my first coach for myself, it changed my life. And then I started, in my business, I started coaching people. And I liked the coaching part more than I actually liked what I was doing for my business. And it was people saying to me things like, you're the first person that has believed in me. Because of you, I have transformed my life. I have gained confidence. I had one person who basically got off food stamps and started this whole new career for herself. And she said, because it was all because you believed in me and helped me take steps to making changes. And that was when I was like, I want to do this for a living. I want to, and I like working with entrepreneurs because I was one. And that's one of the things about we get to pick the people we want to work with, and we get to pick our ideal client avatar. And I get to say, like, I am my ideal client. Like, if I look back, like, I want to help me back then. I want to help the person who is starting out in their business, or maybe they're 5 years into their business or 10 years into their business, and they know that there's something inside them that could go the extra step. And sometimes it's the belief and accountability. I was on a panel this morning, and one of the things that we were talking about was, if you want to make $1 million, you have to believe that you can make $1 million, and that you're worth making $1 million, and that you've actually already made $1 million, right? Like, there's huge belief that comes in, and you can say it to yourself, but when you have that other person that's in your corner, helping you turn that belief on and helping you maintain that belief, that's where success can really see and bubble up. And that's where I love turning that on in my clients, because it was turned on at me.
Nice. I always enjoy hearing how people got to where they are too, and it fills in a little bit of the information too. I read, some in your bio, but I just like to have the background, and I think it helps listeners also understand like why you might be able to help them. So thank you for sharing that story. But we do want to talk. Oh, go ahead.
No, I just was going to say one thing because everybody's my journey to becoming an entrepreneur, though, like, I was in corporate. So if the one thing I always like to share, if there is anybody who's like, oh, I'm in corporate and I'm thinking about making the leap to being on my own, like, honestly, like, hook me up. Like, I am happy because I was also that person who was in corporate, who had the aha moment driving my kids to school thinking, what am I doing? Like, where's my life going? And I changed that course of action because I went down and came home and wrote down my mission and my vision and what I wanted for me. And so that was also like almost like started the entrepreneur journey. If that makes sense.
Well, I was one of those people that was in corporate too. I actually never intended to be a business owner, but it was because someone asked me to help her. They knew what I did. I was a full charge bookkeeper, and she was like, please help me. I have to help my husband with his business, and I really hate this aspect of it. And she bugged me for months, and, long story short, that was 2002. Here I am. Yeah. So, you were talking though, mission and vision just a second ago too. And some people may have a concept of what those are, but they may not understand the difference. So I'd love for you to talk about your definition of what is a mission and what is a vision, so that as we're talking today, they understand those concepts.
Yep. So I'm going to start with vision. So vision is where you see yourself, like, and I love to always share that each and every one of us is the CEO of ourselves and of our lives. And and then if you're a mom or a dad, you're the CEO of you, and your spouse is the CEO of them. And then you got this bigger CEO of the corporate entity of your family. But being the CEO of you, where it starts is you have this vision as to where you want your life to be, your legacy. The vision of when at the end of your life, so to speak, and you've written your eulogy, like, what is that people have said that they can say about you and that you can say about your life. And it's the grand picture. I always love to say, for me, like, my part of my vision is to be able to create a life that my kids have memories with, and that I've been able to have a lasting legacy to help instill other people to be their greatest selves. And And so how do I do that? Well, that's where my mission comes in, right? Part of my mission is defining the achievement code and the codes and the values that I have, and really then saying, all right, my mission is I'm going to help all these people, and in doing so I'm going to be able to fulfill these dreams, and I'm going to be able to fulfill that. So your mission is what is starting the direction and the path to the vision of the greater you. And then from the mission, right, once we have our mission, we can then extrapolate the goals that we need to set forth to see that mission come to fruition, to see the vision happen. So that's, and I always like to say, it's a sphere. It's always moving and evolving, and it's turning around. I talk with a lot of companies and entrepreneurs who have written out their mission statement. And then what do? They take their mission statement, they write it down, they put it in a book, they pick the book, they put it away. I got my mission statement, woohoo! No, I'm sorry to say. Take your mission statement out and read it. Look at it. It should be front and center. It needs to be, posted on your, screensaver. Like, it needs to be something that you're always looking at, because it's not written in stone. As you change, your mission is going to change. Your goals are going to change. And so just like a sphere, it's going to evolve and it's going to move and it's going to rotate. Same thing happens with that mission. And your vision may change too. Some things may happen in your life, and you're going to be like, you know what? I think I need to alter that. And that's okay. We just need to make sure that those things are in alignment with each other, and also with your core values, and as I call it, your achievement code, so that the sphere is actually turning in a nice fluid pattern. It's not like being jerky. And you can always zigzag, but we need to have the fluid motion.
Well, I think it's important for people to understand it's not one and done, right? Like you said, it could change over time, and your perspective on things can change, and what you want to do with your life can change, and what you want to do with your business can change. So how does someone then use, what they've created here, their mission and their vision in their business, to, enhance their own leadership if they have a team, to promote their business growth, so they can achieve the things that they want to achieve. So how do they actually use those?
Such a great question. And it's one that's so near and dear to my heart. Okay. So this is like, I'm like, I love this. So if you have a team, and it could be your family is your team, or you have a corporate team, you need to share them. So, and I'll talk let's start with the family. Your family needs to know what the overall vision is for the family. Like, where do they want to go, and why are we doing this? And then what's the mission, and how are you going to do it? What work has to be done? And your family needs to know that. And the key part is that you need to share the mission, and then you need to ask the question, how does this resonate with you? Do we, as a family, do we need to tweak it? And it's going to evolve there too. We need to, your family needs to get excited about it just as well as you, because they're going to be your cheerleaders. And then when you're thinking about it from the company standpoint, so I always like to break it down as the CEO, and then you've got your teams. The CEO of a company needs to share the overarching mission, the vision of the company, where they want to go, and the mission of the company. And the people that they bring in, and I should actually have to back up, the values of the company too are in there. So that achievement code are in there. And then you can actually look at the people that you're bringing into the company. Do they align with your codes, your achievement codes? And where do they stand with the mission of the company? Are they behind it? Did they agree with it? Can they get excited about it? And if they can't, then maybe they're not the right fit. And it's the same thing with a team. If you have a team and you're the sales team, and you've got a mission for, what the company, that team is going to do. And you have this vision of like, I envision that our team, as a sales team is going to be able to do this so that we can influence this. And you share that vision and the mission.
Mhm.
If you have people on your team that can't get behind it, then that's where conversations need to happen to say, okay, so I could say, Candy, if you don't like this mission, do you want to look at another team that maybe your skills are better set with? Or
Mhm.
maybe this company isn't the right thing. But it takes sharing it and sharing it often. Like, if you have a Monday morning sales meeting, every Monday morning, everybody needs to know what the mission is and be behind it. And
Mhm.
ideally, the company or the team, the leader needs to dig a little bit and find out the individual missions for the people that are in their team. Because I might not, if I don't do that, I might not know that you may have this dream of, yes, you want to be great in sales, but maybe you have this creative side of you and you'd like to try that out. Well, maybe you
Mhm.
might need to go to the marketing or the creative department. I'm just making this up, but it's
Right.
still like you need to find and know about the people within your team. And so it
Mhm.
it goes down and it also goes up. And when you can have that cohesive group where they're, all for one for all, go Mickey Mouse, right? You know, it matters because you have that teamwork and people, it's amazing when you have that team working together because
Mhm.
it becomes your family. There's an energy that's captured, and it's so great to see. And it's one of those things that I wish that every single company really did, because I think it also makes for, it influences the culture of a company. Great company cultures are shared and created that way through people aligning with their mission and the vision of the company that they're part of. And so when
Mhm.
people are, that creates happy employees. And so what happens when you have happy employees? When they go out into the world, they're going to be happier people. And so when they're at the coffee shop or the supermarket and they're shopping, they're going to be happier. So their energy is going to, be contagious in a good way. So
Mhm.
like I was thinking, like, if you imagine a place, or a world, right, where everybody was aligned and could, or doing what they were in love with, right, and what their or personal mission was, or at least um passionate about, that they were aligned properly, how much happier we would all be.
Mhm. Well, while you were talking to, I was thinking, obviously when you come up with these, because a lot of people might be listening now and they don't even have these in place and they already have team in place. So when they put this together, there may be some challenges, right, with those who are already on staff. But more importantly, when they're going to be interviewing in the future, like, do you have tips for how they can identify someone who really believes in the value and mission that they're sharing versus they want a job, so they're going to say what they think, the interviewer wants to hear so they could get hired, and then they'll deal with it later, right? How do they identify who might be a good fit for them?
So there's some key questions that you need to ask, right? So there's two things here. So if you're the interviewee or you're the company, I do believe you have to ask people some questions that give them some scenarios of how they would answer that may have nothing to do with the company or the business, or
Mhm.
give them, it's a little funny test, but I think this one says a lot. It's about character. And if you've already heard this, but let's just say you're coming in for an interview, and I'm going to say, Candy, would you like a glass of water? And you say, yes, I'd love one. I'm like, okay, great. Let's follow me. And I'm going to give you a glass of water. And you take the glass of water and you put it on the desk, and then we're done with the interview. What do you do with the glass of water?
Mm. Well, if I'm the interviewee, I might not know in that situation how to handle it. Should I leave it? Should I ask if I should take it with me? Like, I probably would ask the question, but some people might be afraid to say anything and just get up and leave.
Okay, and that's a defining thing. That right
Mhm.
there is very defining. So if you think it's really important for the person to ask the question, "Oh, thank you so much. It was a great interview. What would you like me to do with the cup?" That may be a telltale sign about, maybe it's something in your achievement code that you value within employees. If they leave it there, that might say a whole different thing. So I always like to think, if you have certain things that you want with your people that you are bringing in, we cannot teach character. I can't change somebody's character. Their character is who they are. That's part of, what makes people who they are, right? So if you're trying to pull out what that character is, what is something that you can ask, like the cup of water, or, or is it taking them through something like where they may have to hold the door for you? Like little things that may show somebody's character that means a lot to the company. And then it's really asking questions about the person's life. Like, we can all sell ourselves, right, on a job and a task, right, or what we need to do. We can all do that. But you need to ask the questions about, what is the person like? What do they do outside of work? How do they spend their time? Like, those things really do matter as part of the culture of a company. And on the other side of it, if you are looking for a position and you are thinking, I've been at company X for a while, I'm not appreciated, or it's just not aligned with me, I always say, take the time to really research companies that do have meaning, that do something that you really can get behind, and or maybe it's an interest of yours. If you are in the marketing department for a fishing company and you hate fishing, you may not be the best marketer. But if you are the person who is, maybe business development for a healthcare company, and you don't like the values of how they treat their other people, not going to be the right fit. But then on the other side, I'll just take an example. There's a crystal company that was looking for a position, and one of my clients was interested, and I said, great company, you like what they do. Now, what can you do to set yourself apart from everybody else? And what can you do to research that company so that when you send them your resume, or when you get the interview, that's going to not only get you super excited, but it's going to get them excited because you've thought about the position. When you think about going in for an interview, it's, a lot of times the jobs we get, or the paths in our careers, are the ones that we're so excited about. We come up with all these ideas because we're so excited about the company, and we can't wait to share them. Right. And so that excitement is what is going to drive you into the position. But again, you have to make sure, I truly believe you have to make sure that on the other side, you are also asking character questions to your interviewee, to the interviewer, about the company. Are you in alignment? Because if you can get into a company and you're like, oh my God, these are like, they're not nice. They said they were nice, and they said they gave really good reviews, and they gave reviews, positive reviews, and you were able to, switch departments, and they really focused on your, leveling you up in your career and your business, but really it's just do the job.
Right.
You have to ask the questions, and you have to ask for examples, and you really, just like you would ask for a dinner, a restaurant review or a movie review, ask to speak to other people in the company. Don't just look on Glassdoor, but ask to speak to people at the company, people that have been there for a little bit, and people who have been there for a long time.
That's a great tip too. And a lot of people probably don't even think, that they can ask that question. So that's probably a very helpful tip that you just shared with them too. So,
Well,
um, yeah, I do want to ask another question about like the mission and things like that too. So if entrepreneurs have their mission and their vision, but then we face challenges,
yeah.
there's uncertain times that comes up. Sometimes things are going great. Some things, we have a struggle periodically. So how do they maintain the clarity on their vision when they're dealing with these ups and downs in business?
So your vision and your mission is something that is always changing and evolving. So if you have a period of time where things are going different and you're just kind of like, oh my God, this, like, am I doing the right thing? You have to come back to what makes you passionate about what you are doing and why are you doing what you're doing?
Mm-hmm.
And, people talk about the why. I talk about the passion. Like, I I might know that I love doing this because I know I really enjoy helping people and I'm doing this so that I have, the greater good. But I'm so
Mm-hmm.
passionate about seeing the smile on people's faces when I help them. That's what fills my cup, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
what are you passionate about and why are you doing what you're doing? And then you have to go back and read it and write it down. And if your passion has changed, it's okay. We just need to make sure that we go back and tweak it so that you do stay in alignment with it. And we are evolving all the time. I mean, it would be great in
Mm-hmm.
some ways that maybe that we didn't because then we wouldn't have wrinkles and all that those interesting things, right? But we do, right? We're always
Right.
evolving. We're all works in progress. We're all, you, me, we're all whips. We're all works in progress. So is our business. Everything is moving. And so if you do have that feeling of, you know, something has just been thrown your way, whether it's COVID, the flu, something
Mm-hmm.
happening in the economy, like how you evolve and work with it comes from where your passion lies and the why and what you can do to get up in the morning and say, I'm excited about doing what I'm doing. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
there may be a stumbling block, but let me look at my mission statement. And I tell everybody, like, write down, I have people create a mission mantra. So create your mission mantra, write it down on a piece of paper. I like the this 4x6 card or 5x7 and read it. And I'll share like mine.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, like, I will be consistent using my special gift of connecting other people so I can help them accomplish more in their life so that I, as a coach, get the fulfillment that I love of seeing their success. And when I get this, then I'm achieving the greatest fulfillment of all, which is a happy family and a happy life.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in my card.
Perfect.
But
Nice.
but write it down. And so when and then I have a saying that's on my wall. It's like who can I help today turn their passions into profit? And so
Mm.
it, we need those reminders, right? So that because there are always going to be bumps in the road. It's just how we deal with
Mm-hmm.
bumps, right?
Yep, exactly. Well, I do know we're coming to the end of the time that we have together today, so I would love to ask how our listeners can connect with you and if you have an offer that you would like to share with them.
So first of all, go to my website, which is www.leaptoyoursuccess.com. Just leaptoyoursuccess.com. Go to my website. You can hit all my socials, all the socials on there. And I do have a great offer. If you are writing or want to relook at your mission and your mantra statement, I have the Unstoppable Achievers Journal. It is free as a digital download, and there are exercises in here. And then in here too, I offer every single person who gets this a complimentary session. And I really mean it. Like take my complimentary session. I really want to truly help you and everybody with their mission and their mantra statements and their vision, and helping them make sure that they're on the right path or redefine it. That gives me the greatest pleasure. So yes, I'm being selfish. I love that. So go to my website.
And then, like I said, they can find you on social through your website too, because it's all there. So
Yes.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Jaclyn, for being a guest on my show and talking on this topic with me. I enjoyed our discussion.
Thank you, Candy. I really appreciate it.
And to the listener, if you enjoyed today's topic and you want to hear additional information, you can find access to exclusive content in the show notes. Thank you for tuning in today. Would you please share this episode with those you know and leave a review on your favorite platform? And if you find our show informative, would you consider being a financial sponsor to help me continue my mission to educate business owners? A link is located in the episode description, and no amount is too small. I'd really appreciate your support. If you are interested in connecting with our guest and receiving the offer they had to share, a link to our resource page is in the show notes. Finally, if you have any bookkeeping or payroll needs, reach out to us at 310-534-5577 or contact@abandp.com. My team and I are eager to assist you. Until next time, have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Biz Help for You. Please join your host, Candy Messer, again next time. Have a terrific day.